Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Hey, so first of all, like and subscribe to the channel, become a member, right? And leave that donation for that fried rice and chicken wings. You can give me a follow on Twitter and Instagram. Hey, check this out. Bernard Hopkins once said, "I never let a white boy beat me," about Joe Calzaghe. But I had no idea that the white man made sure Bernard Hopkins didn't win that fight just because it was the white man that didn't like that racist shit he said. I did not know that. Now, I watched that fight between Bernard Hopkins and Calzaghe. I'm going to tell you, I think Calzaghe beat him. I think he beat Roy Jones. But the word on the street is, according to Bernard Hopkins, he just did an interview with Andre Ward called The Art of War. Go check it out. I watched that shit from beginning to the end. That's how entertaining that shit was. Plus, I was out grocery shopping and riding around. I just had my, they're called shocks, the little shock headphones. So I could, when I'm driving, you can hear everything. They're great if you don't have them. I ain't getting sponsored by them shits, but you guys should get a pair. Anyway, check this out. We know he dropped Calzaghe in the fight just like Roy Jones, but this is what happened. At the end of the fight, right, Calzaghe got the decision, but Bernard Hopkins felt he won. His team felt he won. I guess a lot of people felt he won the fight. I personally thought Calzaghe did enough to win. But what happened, according to him, is that he was just in disbelief that he had lost to Calzaghe. Now, of course, Bernard Hopkins, if you listen to him talk, you could tell he's not a racist at all. He's just a pot stirrer and was doing what he had to do to stir the pot and sell fights. That's just that hustle in him. Some would kind of, liken that to what Teofimo Lopez is doing right now. But Bernard Hopkins wasn't saying nothing like calling white people, any kind of racial slurs that I know of. Teofimo Lopez is saying shit that goes beyond just saying, man, I ain't gonna let no black fighter beat me. He's not saying stuff like that. He's talking about monkeys, bananas, making it sound like he's saying the N-word or saying the N-word. Like, he's going the wrong direction with, drawing attention to himself. Anyway, he said one of the judges had wrote a note. Someone wrote a note, one of the judges. They gave his scorecard and the judge dipped. The judge didn't stay around. And there was a note, according to Bernard Hopkins, that the judge gave his scorecard to somebody, the commissioner, someone. Anyway, there was a note on it saying, I guess a white boy beat him, or something along those lines. And that just, what that tells me, right? One, I don't know if it's true or not. That's Bernard Hopkins' story. But if there's some truth to that, that's why I say these fighters need to learn to listen more and talk less. Because there are people who are sitting on the sidelines who have influence over your decision, over your career, over your life, and have influence over your happiness. You may not know it. Just like living in a neighborhood. I'll give you an example. We have a guy who lives in the adjoining neighborhood. This is a very nice community that we live in out here, right? Yeah, nice houses, not just anybody can get over here. But they got one guy, retired military guy like me. But for some reason, man, he's put this camera up like right in the middle of his backyard that extends maybe 15, 20 feet, beyond the tip of his roof. And that camera, he can look and see everything in everyone's backyard, and he can zoom in and look into your house. Some weird shit. Anyway, people have been complaining about him. And the more they complain, the more cameras he puts up. Like, he's one of those guys. Anyway, they go out their way to make that guy miserable. From calling the cops to mailing him shit. They do all kind of horrible stuff to this guy. And the more they mess with him, the more he, turn on his fog. He has fog lights up on that damn thing. He turns them on at night and it's shining everybody's houses. So he's like, you gonna mess with me, I'm gonna mess with you. But what I'm getting at is, you want to go out there and do things and say things and be complicated towards people. There are people who, like me, I don't even live in that neighborhood, but I see all the messages going on. But you got guys like myself who have nothing to do with it, who just take a dislike to you because of something that you're hearing that this person's saying or something they're doing. And that's what it sounds like happened to Bernard Hopkins, man. So so according to Bernard Hopkins, it sounds like he did beat the white guy, but the white judges robbed him. That's his story. And I just thought that was interesting as hell. And I'll be honest with you. It doesn't matter if there's a white guy saying something about another race, a black person saying something about another race, Hispanic, Asian, biracial. It doesn't matter. I'm going to tell you right now, the way I am. If I hear somebody talking that craziness, then I'm not, if I'm in a position where I can influence an outcome or something, you're not going to get the nod. And I'll give you an example. I used to be on a lot of award boards. So you have guys who are getting nominated for awards. And, I'd be one of the members on the board. It'd be like 5 to 6 of us. And we'd have to cast a vote. And depending on how we scored people's awards packages, they would either get win or they don't win. But I had seen packages come through there where I tried not to be prejudiced against them because of something I knew they did or knew they said or I knew how they were. I tried to just focus on what was in the black and white, the black being the ink, the white the paper, their accomplishments and the impact of their accomplishments. But there was one guy in particular, man. I'll be honest with you. When I saw his name come across, I knew I wasn't picking that dude. And the sad thing is, I knew that shit has happened to me multiple times. People would try to shoot me down on my awards packages because they were mad I was getting a lot of awards and I was getting promoted so fast. But what would happen is, when you have such a disparity amongst voting members, it would be bubbled up to a higher authority who would look at the packages and they would make a final decision. And 9 times out of 10, when they would see that, they're like, hey, how is this guy hood champion not your number one guy? How you mark him down as out of 6, he's your number 6 choice. And they realized there was some kind of prejudice, and then they would say, nope, he wins. But even I'll give you a story. I got thousands of stories. There was this guy, it's a weirdo. Anyway, he didn't like what the unit deployment manager, he didn't like what the guy was telling him about some training. He claimed he went to the training, but it was never signed off. So the unit deployment manager doesn't have time to figure out whether you did it or you don't. It's not documented. You can't prove it. The people where he was supposed to get the training saying they have no record of him showing on the attendance sheet. So as far as the unit deployment manager was concerned, he didn't do it. Anyway, Bozo didn't like that because it's like a 6-hour training. None of us like doing this shit. It was Kim Gear. No, it was pallet buildup. That shit sucked. But he didn't want to do that pallet buildup bullshit no more. So he goes to email his wife. He's so pissed off, instead of forwarding the email, he hit reply. And was saying, what he said in there was, I hate that black SOB. I just go take my knife and slash his tires. I can also slash him. That's how mad I am. And he sent the shit to him. Anyway, the guy got that, brought it into the leadership's office. It got to me. And we had a meeting, like, hey, what should we do about it? I'm like, that's crazy. And the guys above me wanted to try to get him arrested and court-martialed as a threat to kill someone. I'm like, nah, he's just talking trash, but he needs to be reprimanded or something at the minimum. I said, that's crazy. So we brought Bozo in, look, 2 days had gone by. This dumbass, he and his wife, he ain't even realized that he had sent it to this guy. Called him in, man, and chirped his ass up. I just leave it as that. But when I saw an award package come in on this same guy, I was like, oh no, this is a guy here, man. After that, everybody watched him different. Like, yo, he may come in here and shoot up the place. You know what I'm saying? Why would you want to reward an idiot like this? It's about slashing somebody's tires and so angry they could probably slash the person up too. So when you say stupid shit, whether you mean it or not, people who you don't know who can have an influence on an outcome, and whether it's going to be favorable or unfavorable, and it can cause them, man, to not give you the nod. And I think that's what happened to Bernard Hopkins. But anyway, that's why I created this thumbnail, Bernard Hopkins running from the white monster. Hey, but he said it. But it was funny because he was joking, because he even said, hey, if you're going to talk that kind of talk, you got to back it up. He's like, there was a couple of white boys that I lost to, so I wasn't able to back it up. So it was funny to listen to him joke about it and just give us a peek behind the tent flaps on why he said what he said and where his thought process was at the time. He didn't mean nothing by it. He was just trying to stir the pot. But one thing about Bernard Hopkins, when you listen to him, man, the dude's, look, he's got a lot. He's a smart guy. He has good intentions, man. He really is. He's not the best speaker. You can tell he wants to be the best. And sometimes it's tough listening to him because, again, he's not the most articulate, but he get beyond him using present tense, but he should be using past tense and, using words incorrectly. Get beyond all that. We all got a sense of humor. I poke fun at him, but after today, I'm like, I listened to that dude for 2 hours, and again, there was some struggles there with his grammar, but I didn't laugh at anything. I was actually listening attentively to what he was saying. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it. The Art of War. Andre Ward is interviewing Bernard Hopkins. Absolutely amazing interview. Talks about him in prison, 15-year stint, only did 5. Out of the 5 years, 3 years, he was the middleweight champion. People were laughing at him. Didn't think he'd get out and do anything with himself. Guard said he'd be back in 6 months. And to this day, he said he thinks about that. What that guard, the warden said. The warden said to him, "You'll be back in 6 months." He said that's why he refuses to do anything or make any kind of mistakes, because I want to prove that guy wrong. And he's been proving him wrong. And Bernard Hopkins, let me tell you, he got dough. He's got dough. He even motivated me talking about the lifestyle and being in shape and just turning 60. That shit inspired me because, I was a fitness freak. But my kids are small, but I got a lot of time on my hands. And even today, I worked out probably a little more intensely than I normally do, because I'm like, you know what, man, I just turned 50. I'm in good shape, but I need to probably lose 60 pounds. I need to get back down to 200. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong, man. My muscles still tight and all that. I need to probably lose 60 pounds. And it's hard, though, boy. I just cooked spaghetti for my sons and something called pilau. Pilau is Trinidad food, Creole cooking, rice, pigeon peas, chicken, vegetables, all in one pot. Very good. The shit is good. I just need to find the strength to maybe, if I'm going to get a small bowl and maybe just eat out the vegetables and meat. And, I got to get away from the carbs. But I work out so much that, I'm all right. But 60 pounds definitely, I think, create a more level of comfort for me, even though I'm comfortable now. But the doctors were talking to me a little bit about my heart and some shit. So I probably need to find a discipline like Bernard Hopkins to make sure I just make that permanent lifestyle change. But overall, Bernard Hopkins, great interview, man. And I did not know that that's what happened to him. Very, very, very interesting. And also, they had set him up basically to lose to Kelly Pavlik because they thought Bernard Hopkins was at the end of his rope. And he was old, and he went in there and beat the shit out of Kelly Pavlik. So, very interesting story about Bernard Hopkins and a lot of the challenges he endured and things he went through. A lot of times we can look at him and see that he's the guy who's antagonizing people, man, and stirring the pot. There were a lot of situations where people were really setting that man up to lose, setting him up to fail. And he talked about it. And when he talks about it, you can tell he's genuine as hell. He talks about his mother a lot, too. Very, very, very good interview. Anyway, y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.